Hey guys, what's up? Alright, so today we're going to talk about before you go look at a semi truck, how do you figure out what you can afford? How do you figure out what your payments are going to be? And are you even going to make money with this thing? That's the big question. That's the whole point of buying a semi truck is to make money. So, how do you know if you're going to do that, especially if you're new and you've never run a truck before? What resources are there out there that you can get an idea what you might be looking at before you get into it and before you put any money down? There are some great resources out there I want to show you guys that you can utilize for free to learn these things. So let's get into it. As I was telling you in my other videos, I've been driving for a while. I've had about 8 years of experience now. So, I know what I generate in revenue and those things, but I'm going to go through, even for the new guys, to figure out, how is this going to work, give you an idea. So let's get into it. We're going to jump online here and show you things that you can do for free to figure that out. All right, let's go. All right, so one of the things we need to do, let's go into Google here and let's see what kind of payment we would be even looking at for a semi truck. So we need to do a commercial truck payment calculator versus if you just type in like truck payment, you're going to get things for pickups and your personal vehicles. That's close, but you can use those, but it works better if you use a commercial truck payment calculator. So I'm going to show you the one that I like to use when I'm sitting around thinking about, what can I do, how much could I afford, those types of things. I like this Select Trucks financing calculator down here for a couple of reasons. I'll show you. The first reason, in here you can type in, just like you've done with maybe a car, you type in your purchase price, your down payment, and trade combined. You'd have to add those together if you were doing a trade. Calculate your sales tax rate for your state. Now there's a trick to this, being that it's a commercial vehicle. You're going to pull up your interest rate. Now, it's all subjective, but just so you know, commercial loans typically have a higher interest rate than an equivalent automotive loan or auto finance loan. You may be able to go to GM and finance an $80,000 pickup at 2.8%, 0%, if you have good credit. That's not typically going to be the case with a commercial loan because it is for business. It's calculated differently. Usually, even with very good stellar credit, 850 credit scores, minimum I think I've seen is about 6, up to 10, 12, even 15 sometimes. Financing period, just like any other automotive loan, you're going to have, you can type in months in here. Another thing with commercial loans, typically they're shorter term than an automotive loan. Like I said, $80,000 pickup truck, you may be able to finance that for 72 months. I've been hearing about even 84 months now, which is just crazy. Typically, the most they're going to want to go is about 60 on a commercial vehicle. They want to be out of that truck before it gets into really high mileage, excuse me, and starts having problems. So anyway, you could go in here and type in everything once you've found a truck that you're looking at, and that's great. But let's say we're just trying to figure out, hey, I know how much extra cash I have in the month, but what kind of truck does that even get me? What should I be looking for? I like this button over here, this purchasing power button. That's why I like this site. So you can come in here and do it in the reverse order. You can come in here and say, I want my payment to be no more than $2,000 a month. I have $10,000 I can put down. My sales tax rate on a commercial vehicle, if you are going to lease it on with another carrier, meaning you're going to be an owner-operator, but you're going to put it on with someone else's authority. They are going to register that truck for you, and as long as the company you work for is not in the state that you're purchasing the truck or that you live in, this will be a big fat zero. Something most people don't know. You do not pay sales tax on a commercial vehicle if you register it out of state. Interest rate, I'm going to go ahead and put in here just kind of a middle ground number of 9%. And let's say I really don't want to finance whatever this truck is for more than, let's do 48 months. It will calculate and spit out and say, hey, you can afford, based on what you put in here, you can afford a truck that's $90,000. So that saves you a lot of work from getting on the Truck Paper website, getting on Facebook, searching the interweb, searching the local dealers for a truck, only to find out, hey, I could only afford $2,000 a month on a payment, and this truck is going to be $3,500. So I really like this feature. For me personally, I think I can do something more like 3,000. We're gonna do 15,000 for the down payment, and then since we're looking at a newer truck, they will go a little bit farther, so we're gonna push that to 60. Lower mileage. I've already talked to a bank that I've worked with before, and he's kind of given me this insight. Oops. Alright, so based on that budget, this is telling me with that payment and those terms, I could look at potentially buying a truck for $160,000 almost. $159,520. Now from here, if you wanted to buy a truck from them, you could click there and go to their website, but I don't know that they have any trucks that I would want, so we're just going to file that into our back pocket and say, hey, I need to look for a truck less than $160,000. So that's one tool you can really use. Once you do this and you figure out, okay, I can afford up to this. Let's say you go and find a truck and it comes out to actually be, $149,950. Okay, is what you're actually going to pay. Then you go back in on the monthly payment and you figure out to the dollar what your payment's going to actually be. So that's how you can save some work. You could do this math on your own, but this just makes it so much simpler. So keep the same terms. Alright, so now based on if I found a truck for $149,900, same 15,000 down, 9% for 60, I'd be looking at $2,801. So that's kind of how I do that. Go here first. That will let you know what kind of truck you can go and look at. Then once you find something in that budget or less, come over here, and that should give you a rough idea. Well, I mean, it's pretty accurate, but that will give you an idea what you could potentially be looking at. This interest rate may change depending on the lender you're working with and the terms, but that will tell you how to get there. Google is a wonderful tool. You need to do this for your business. You can do things on your own as well and fine-tune these things, but these algorithms and things on some of these websites are just great. So when you're wanting to figure out, man, it's $160,000 for a truck. Am I even going to make any money after I buy this thing? I mean, yeah, I think the budget, I can afford it, but I don't want to just be working and paying a payment for the truck and not make any money, right? So what you do, go to the Google machine, type in trucking profit calculator. Okay. Then I want you to come down here to the trucker report. I like this one. Okay. You come in here, and this is awesome. So you can come in here and you can type in pretty much, it may not cover every expense you have, but it'll give you a pretty close estimate of what your trucking company or your single driver, you yourself being an owner operator, with your expenses, what are you actually going to profit? So a commercial vehicle is different because it makes you money. Okay, I would not spend $160,000 on a car. I would not go and buy, I mean, unless I had millions in the bank, I would not go and buy, you know, a a brand new Corvette for $120,000 and just let it sit in my driveway. That does me nothing other than maybe it will appreciate in value, but that's it. You know, some collector vehicle. A commercial vehicle is completely different. So the purpose of it is to make you money. So you need to verify, am I actually going to make money with this? So from earlier, when we figured out what I wanted my payment to be, we're going to come in here and slide this up. Oh man, that's almost all the way up. I'm already getting scared to $3,000 a month. Okay, now in my particular case, the trailer payment per month right now is $0 because my trailer is paid off. My insurance payment per month, now yes, I will have a newer truck, but right now I'm down at $300, maybe $400 a month total. That will probably go up. I need to verify with my insurance agent what that would actually be. But I'm just going to guesstimate, let's say $700 a month. That's a lot in insurance just for physical damage. This is not covering your cargo insurance. If you're leasing on with a carrier, a bigger fleet, they will be taking care of that. That is under their authority. So all you're really going to have to worry about is physical damage and liability on the truck and trailer yourself. Permits and licenses for $200, that's pretty accurate every month. That's about what I pay. My personal back office and miscellaneous expenses, printer ink, anything I need to do for paperwork, yeah, let's just leave that at $300, that's fine. Variable cost, total miles driven per month. Now this is something, if you don't have a truck yet and you're trying to become an owner operator, you may not know what your total mileage is going to be yet. And in my opinion, you should not really be basing your revenue off of the miles you drive. You should be basing it off of the revenue, but we'll get into that later. For now, let's just leave this at $10,000. That's right in the middle of the road here. And since I've been driving my own truck for 8 years, typically that's about what I do in a month. My average mile per gallon. Now, for the current truck I have, 5.8 is probably about right. The new truck, I'm hoping gets better mileage, but I'm going to just leave that where it is. Average fuel price per gallon. Oh man, this is going to hurt. They got it at $2.35. This must have been like back in the good old days. We're going to crank that on up to $3.50. Fuel's come down a little bit. With my fuel discount, I can get it, come on, $3.53, close enough. I can get it a little cheaper than the advertised pump price, but let's just say on average that's what I'm spending. Now, driver pay per mile. This whole algorithm site is trying to add, payroll in there. You could do that if you're hiring yourself onto your own LLC and you are working as an employee of your own company, getting a W-2 from your own trucking company. You can do this. But me, I am not. I am the only person, so I'm just going to put that down at $0. That way I see total profit without any driver pay calculated. Repairs and maintenance per month. Well, right now with the truck I got, this doesn't even go high enough. I've been spending $3-4 grand a month fixing this. But actually with the new one, I really should just be doing maintenance. So we're talking, in a month, 10,000 miles. Really, it's going to be probably every other month that I'm doing an oil change. So we're probably talking about, maybe a couple gallons of oil, some lube, um, miscellaneous, very, very small stuff. 600 might even be too much. I'm going to put that at like 4 for a newer truck. I shouldn't have to spend very much unless I want to go ahead and budget for a bigger repair later. So actually, yeah, let's leave that up at 600. That gives me an extra 200 or 300 a month that I'm budgeting for a set of tires or something like that. Okay, tolls per month. I don't really do a whole lot of tolls, but 150 in a month, that's probably a bit much, but I'm just going to leave it. Average revenue per mile. Okay, so this is where experience comes in. Again, if you're a new owner op, you may not know exactly what your average revenue is going to be. But my average net, now this is after the percentage for the company I work for, is going to be roughly around, let's just start at $2.50 a mile. Like I said, that's net money. That's not what I book loads at. I typically book my loads right now in this market. That could change, but right now, $3.50 and up. $3.50 is my minimum before I'll even book anything. Paid miles as a percent of total miles driven. Okay, so this is asking you, you can never book a load, or very rarely do you get paid on all mileage. There's variances as far as detours. You can never drive your truck like an airplane straight from point A to point B. So there's always some out of route mileage. Typically I keep that under 10%. So 90% paid miles is pretty accurate. We're going to come up here and see what that's spitting out with us right now. Okay. First, it gives us total profit per month of $11,464. And it's calculating that per mile, profit per mile of $1.1446. Now, driver salary, 0. So all of this would be going to me. But, okay, so down here it's talking about total revenue. What I generated with the truck was $22,500. That's pretty accurate. If I go out for 3 weeks in the month and I book good loads on 10,000 miles a week, or a month, I'm sorry, about 2,500 miles a week, that's pretty close to what I can do. Total expenses, yeah, that's pretty high, 11,000 and change for expenses. Total cost per mile, I like that feature. It breaks out how much per mile are my expenses. Now that's going to be with fuel, because they're asking me down here for my miles per gallon and my fuel cost. So that's going to be including fuel and maintenance. It's going to cost me $1.10 and some change to run that truck. So you can kind of already tell, if I can't find a load that pays me, any more than about $1.50 a mile net, I'm only going to make 40 cents a mile on that load. So that kind of gives me some insight. Variable cost per mile, 68 cents or so, $6.36 per month. Yeah, including fuel. Okay, so that's my fuel cost. So this is breaking out, because that's the only thing that they have here as far as variable costs is fuel. So this is telling me my fuel cost. It doesn't just say fuel, really, but that's what that is 68 cents, 68 and a half. So call it 69 cents per mile. So this makes it really easy to come in here and say, okay, can I afford to do this? And also, you can change one thing and see what happens. So let's say I found a truck, like in my other example, instead of $3K a month, it costs me $2,800. Okay, well now my total profit went up to 11.6. If I were able to find a truck with the same, I'm running the truck the same, everything else cost me the same, but I found a truck for much cheaper. Let's do, $1,700 a month. Now I'm making 12,700, almost 13 grand a month in profit. But yeah, you can come in here and play with this, and you don't even need to have a truck. So I mean, before you go and buy anything, before, like, you can be driving for somebody else and say, hey, do I even want to be an owner operator? You can come into something like this, and if you have a little bit of insight and you can say, okay, I think these are what these numbers will be, I want to be able to generate net $2.50 a mile. I think I can get freight for that at the company I'm looking at, and I think my truck is going to be this. You're going to have to do some research before you come in here, but you can get a pretty good idea of what you're going to make per month, and then you can extrapolate that out. It doesn't give you a total here for the year, but I mean, let's say you were able to do this, like as a starting truck, you find something cheaper, 12 grand a month. That's profit. I mean, that's 140-ish thousand a year net. So, I mean, you're doing good. If you're working at a company right now and you're making 60, 70 grand, you basically doubled your income by doing it yourself. By buying a truck and leasing onto somebody without your authority or anything. You're just going to work with their name on the truck, and you can make good money. So, but yeah, the interweb is awesome. Pretty much anything you ever want to calculate, someone's already done it. Someone's already made a form that you can fill out, and it will spit out numbers, which is great. So use these tools, guys. Use these tools before you do anything. Verify that you're making a good decision before you do anything. Okay, so we have an idea of what kind of truck we can afford now. Let's go see what's out there. I always start at Truck Paper. They've got a pretty comprehensive list of things all around the country. So I mean, if you're willing to travel, you can get a better deal, maybe out of state. But I really don't want to. So we can search locally to us. Let's see. We want to do heavy duty trucks. We want to go down here to conventional trucks with sleepers, unless you're doing day cab work. But conventional truck. And let's start with Kenworth because that's what I like. And let's go, let's see. I would drive a T680. They're okay. But I'm really wanting a W990 or a W9. There's only 38 of these, so that'll be quick. Let's go in here. Let's see what there is. And then we're going to apply our zip code, show us the closest first. Okay, here's some options. Well, that's under our 160. Let's see, 350,000 miles, Cummins, 500 horse, 2020, and the remainder of the 450,000 mile warranty. Now, if you're talking about a factory warranty, those are transferable. Any kind of additional warranty usually is not transferable, so just keep that in mind. Engine and after treatment, that's usually where you have the problem. Not so much with the engine, but usually the after treatment and the DEF causes the engine to have problems, so that's what you want. Let's just look at this guy real quick. I like that paint job too, that's pretty cool. Kind of a Harley Davidson theme almost, with the black and gray and orange. Where are these? Kime Transport, Sabbath of Kansas. That's not too far from me. So, And they do flatbed work, so I know they set these trucks up the right way. There's no headache rack. There's a step, but there's no boxes on it. So I mean, you're gonna have to budget if you don't have those things, especially if you're doing a flatbed. You're gonna have to budget an extra, I don't know, 3, maybe 4,000. Headache rack is about $2,000 for a box versus just the chain rack. And then side step boxes are about 5, maybe 800 a piece. If you're just starting out, you're gonna have to budget an extra on top of that, even probably $3,000 for tarps, chains, straps, all your securement stuff. Got good tires. Yeah, it's a good looking truck. So there's some stuff out there. I like the interior they're doing on the new ones now with the stitching. It looks really good. 13 speed, which is good for me. I don't like an automatic truck. I know guys that run them, they say they're fine. I'm old school. I don't like it. Double bunk. I don't need a double bunk for me personally, but resale value, they always sell higher with 2 bunks. Something else to keep in mind. Yeah, it's a nice looking truck. See, they got that one. That's a little cheaper. Why? It's got a little higher mileage. Same place though. I saw this one the other day. I was pretty interested in. Still a little lower on the mileage, 370. Let's see. I like blue. You see the truck I got now is blue. I like blue trucks. You don't see a lot of those. And I like the white paint job they got going on here. Kind of old school looking. I like it. All these trucks are all from the same place. They're, hang on a second. Was that missing a hubcap? Oh, they just didn't put the hubcaps on them. Okay. Same thing, double bunk. Got a fridge. These trucks have S-bar heaters, which, if you don't know, okay, an S-bar heater is a heater under the bunk that uses diesel fuel. It burns it, but it burns like, I don't know, half a gallon over a whole like 12-hour night. It's very, very minimal, but they get warm. It'll keep you warm in the winter for sure. But these trucks don't have an APU for air conditioning, which kind of stinks. That's an extra 15 grand or so new. And these newer trucks, you don't want to idle these. That's how you clog up the DPF filters and stuff. An older truck, you can get away with it, but it's going to cost you fuel. Anymore, you almost have to have an APU. So that's something to consider. You're going to have to get on top of this. But that's a pretty clean truck. I like this one. It's a dark blue. I like that setup. That's kind of the old school design on it. And they had this one too. It's a couple grand cheaper, not much, and it's got less miles by about 10,000. Same spec and everything, same place. But it's got kind of a more modern design. I think that's going to be vinyl. I don't know that that's painted, but I'd have to go look at it and see. But there's what it was with all the stickers and stuff on it for their company. And it had a step box on it, but I think they took that off. But pretty much the same interior spec. You know, I do like this company because they spec, you know, if you're gonna have a trucking company, there's something to be said for, you know, run similar equipment. Now, like this company has W990s and they have T680s, but they're all spec the same. They have the same engine, the same transmission, the same everything. That's great as far as maintenance goes. You can find a mechanic, you can find a shop that works on them for you, services them. They know the parts, they know the part numbers for all your maintenance stuff, your regular interval stuff. It keeps everything consistent. If you're going to run a trucking company, that's the way to do it. It's why you see these fleets, they don't have Freightliners and Kenworths and Pete's and, like they stick with one thing that they like and they buy a bunch of them. And then they trade them off at 350 or so thousand miles before the warranty runs out. So as a owner operator, this company may be done with this truck for their purposes, for taxes and everything else. They're going to replace this with a new one, but it's still got plenty of life left in it. And you can take advantage of that consistency if you're going to put on 2 or 3 or 10 trucks. As time goes on, you can go back to this place in a year, 2 years, get a newer model with the same spec, same everything. You'll know what you're getting into, and your drivers will all be consistent too. If you need to switch one of them from one truck to another, they won't have to relearn how to go from a Peterbilt to a Kenworth and how it drives and everything. They transfer their personal effects over, and it's just like the other truck. They don't have to relearn anything. So that's a good business model to do it that way if you're going to expand. So I like these trucks. I'm going to have to go check these out up there in Sabetha. We'll call this guy and make an appointment. I don't know how I feel about this though. On these trucks, they went from having all the gauges, the manual gauges out here, to having this screen. It's all digital. So you can select which gauges you want. You probably will get more information through the computer of the truck. You could personalize this, I bet, to what gauges you want to see. But man, if that thing ever goes out or has a problem, half your gauges you're not going to be able to see. So I don't know how I feel about that. We'll just have to go look at it. We'll have to go do some research online to see if anybody's having problems with that. But these particular trucks too versus mine, they've put so much more room above your head in the cab. You could almost, I bet you could stand up in the front, which I can't do. I don't think they have a picture of it, but this passenger seat will flip all the way around, and then that table in the back. Where's the picture? Yeah, so that will swing out. This seat will rotate around. You can sit there on the seat and eat, do your paperwork, use your laptop, whatever, instead of sitting on the bunk. I've always been irritated with that if I need to eat anything, I have to sit back here and get crumbs and stuff in my bed. I don't like it. But I'm going to have to go check these out. That's one option. That same company also has, let's go back to the T680s. That company also has T680s that are spec'd about the same. Let's see if I can go find one. Where is it? Actually, let's go back this way. Let's go here. Do that. We will just go that way. That should show me all their trucks. Okay, yeah, so 2020 as well, similar mileage, 144 for a T680. So yeah, you could save 8-10 grand by doing one of these, but come on, which looks better and more impressive, this truck or this truck? I mean, they're similar. They still got the old school look with the steps and polished tanks and the stacks. It doesn't look completely, you know, just a white basic truck. But man, for an extra $6,000, like 2 extra payments, man, I'd much rather have a longer hood truck. A lot of company guys aren't going to like that. They may not know, you know, how to drive that. Yeah, actually, this company has, I was looking at this the other day, the very first Icon W900, badge number 1, $300,000, 1,000 miles. They bought that truck, put it in the showrooms, never moved. But, I mean, you know, like this blue one, that looks good too. You know, if I was going to buy, and this is my plan if I ever get to this point, if I was going to buy a truck to put a driver in versus me to drive every day, I probably would save the 8 or 10 grand and buy this. Because it's the same spec, same engine, same transmission, same everything. It's just got the axle back here and a slanted hood, you know. But the cab and everything is literally the same. I mean, you still get the bunk and you still get, you know, the seat swivels around and everything. They're cloth seats. You know, they're a little less. Not quite as fancy as that W990 is. But for a company guy, this is a great truck. Great truck to go do. To go work with, you know. So, yeah, I'm going to have to get up here to these guys later this week and go check these out. See what they got. That's one option. There is, I can't show it on here because the guy has not listed it yet. I just drove by the dealership yesterday. And I saw is white. I hate white trucks. But it's a 2017, I believe, W900. Same as these. Cummins, 500 horse, manual transmission. That just had a new in-frame rebuild. So meaning that it's got new head gasket, new overhead. Like the engine is brand new. It's got a little more mileage on it. It's like 650, I think. But they were asking $129 for it, so it's quite a bit cheaper, and it's the same truck that I'm driving now. But I don't know. I think this is probably the better route. Well, not this particularly, but I'm liking that blue W900 or 990. They're good-looking trucks. I like that too. I mean, I ride bikes and stuff, and I mean, you know, but I don't have a Harley, so love to put a big Harley Davidson badge up here, but it doesn't really make sense for me. But that is sharp. So anyway, that's kind of what we're looking at. And as I go up there, I will video that. I want to go over with you guys what to look for when you're actually in person looking at a truck. Because there's things that are different, obviously, with looking at a truck versus looking at a car or a pickup truck or anything else. There's some little tricks you can do when you're actually in person at the truck that you can test some things out and kind of get an idea of, has this truck been maintained? Is it going to have any major problems? It's not a guarantee, but it gives you a good idea. Little things to look for, how it's been maintained, how it's been kept. Makes a big difference. Plus, on something like this, it's a commercial vehicle, especially like what I just showed you, something coming from a fleet. They should have a maintenance book from day one when they bought that truck. Everything that truck has ever had. So you should be able to flip through all of that stuff and verify what it's had. And you want to look for some very specific things in there that should be done and some things that you don't want to see in there, because that will give you an idea this truck may have problems. Anyway, we'll go through that. This is probably going to be a 2-part series because there's a lot of information going on here. And I may find some other trucks that I want to go and look at. But anyway, for right now, that's what I got for you guys. If you can, please share this video, give me a like, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, all that stuff. I hate when guys plug their channel like that, but you know, it is the YouTube. That's how this works. But anyway, if you feel it in your heart,
go ahead and go for it. So anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. Stay safe, keep the rubber side down, and I'll catch you in the next one.